with this movie, he knew that this was going to be such a hit that it was going to kick off a new franchise. And so some would call it overconfidence. I think it's the right move. He called the first one in the series Ready Player One, knowing that there'll be a Ready Player Two, a Ready Player Three, and so on and so forth, all the way up maybe to 10.
I think if you'd tacked the National Lampoon name onto this and called it National Lampoon's 21 and Over, it would have been a 5-bagger. I'm going to give it 5 bags anyway, though, because I think that the world does need a laugh.
As far as I know, and I do know these things, this is the first biography of a known figure to use the full name as the title of the movie.
When you call a movie a controversial name like Kick-Ass, you're going to lose half the audience segment right away. If they called it Kick It and Kick It 2, people would be more likely to take their kids to it.
There's 6 different filmmakers who decided a Rampage would be a good title for a movie, and they're right, but it gets a little confusing if you own all these movies and you're trying to file them.
I think that the title is a little misleading. Grown Ups 2 should be for grown-ups only because it's pretty raunchy.
I would also argue that the Peanuts movie is kind of an inaccurate title. It's not the Peanuts movie, it's a Peanuts movie, because movie buffs know that there have been, in fact, several Peanuts movies in the past.
When they make a sequel like your Rockies or your Jaws, you get Rocky 2, Jaws 2. They just put a number after it. And instead they actually incorporated the fact that it was a sequel into the title, the second best. And I think that's an interesting, very creative way to do that. And I think it could usher in a new era of this type of creativity. I think it's not the first Wall movie. There was actually one in 1980 starring Bob Geldof and another in 2016 with an unknown cast. For that reason, I'm going to have to give it only 1 bag of popcorn for unoriginality in the title process. I think it's strange that they call it Furious 7 instead of Fast and the Furious 7, because there was no Furious 1. I mean, you can't just cut half the title out but keep the numbering system. That's a little strange. I thought it was interesting. When I see a movie that starts with the word case, I think of a Sherlock Holmes or that type of a movie, and this was something very different. I think they missed an opportunity here to call this movie Super Troopers rather than Super Troopers 2, Super Troopers, which I think would have been funny. Now, incidentally, is going to be in the Guinness Book for the highest number reached in a sequel. Now, of course, Bond has had more movies, but they didn't have numbers in the titles like this one did. I don't know. I think it was a mistake for Marvel to call it The Avengers when there was already another series called The Avengers with Uma Thurman and this sort of thing. You can't just take somebody else's name.
I'm confused why, when you have a movie, The Bourne Identity, then you follow it with The Bourne Legacy, then you follow it with The Bourne Ultimatum. These are titles that are in a good alphabetical order so that when you're filing your tapes in your collection, they go side by side. This movie is called Jason Bourne, so it's not even going to be in the same room as the others that start with B.
I'm going to give the movie 5 bags of popcorn, and I'm going to give the title 0 bags of popcorn, because I think with a better title, you'd have more of an audience.